speech entitled Dare to Make a Difference in Your Life, I welcome on stage Saskia.
My interest in life comes from setting myself huge and unachievable challenges and then trying to rise above them. Those were not my words. Those were the words from Richard Branson, not mine. But, like Sir Richard, last year in July, I did set myself a huge and unachievable challenge. I signed up to do the British 10K run with a bunch of colleagues at work. But I've never run in my life before, not outside. And unlike Sir Richard, I did not rise above my challenge. On the contrary, I successfully failed them. I didn't even manage to walk the 10K, let alone run it. Does that mean, though, that the challenge was too big and therefore unachievable? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, tonight I'm going to show you that unachievable is a word only to be found in a dictionary of fools. As the wise always say, if there is a will, there's always a way. And if your mind is set on wanting something, and you want it really, really badly, you find a way to get it. And going back to my story, just because I didn't manage to run, it didn't quite bother me so much on a daily basis. But actually, it was a big bugbear in my mind. For me, it was yet again one of those things, a gazillion dreams that I wanted to do in life, but never actually managed to do for real. So I was pretty much disappointed with myself. But not all hope is lost. One day, a really good friend of mine, after being inspired by a bunch of colleagues at work who've got this lunchtime running thing going on, she asked me casually, would you like to run too? The first thing that came in my mind, I said, I couldn't possibly run like that. I have asthma. My lungs aren't good enough. I'm just not a runner, not outside. But there was a tiny wee side of me that wanted to prove those words wrong. My pride couldn't possibly fail yet again, at least not in running. So I decided that this is probably the perfect opportunity for me to prove that unachievable is simply not a possibility. So I said to her, yes, let's go running. Guess what? We did. 2 days later, after work, we decided to get changed, our running gear, and we started running outside. 4.7K, London Bridge to Vauxhall. Who would have thought? We actually did our run and we felt so good. We even took pictures of ourselves sweating in the train, just to prove to our colleagues at work the next day that we didn't just end up walking down to the pub. 1.5 months later, 4.7K turned into 7K. Bermondsey to Vauxhall. We persisted in all weather conditions, and some of you may have seen us outside actually. -2 degrees Celsius. Cold, crispy winter weather, wet, pouring rain. And even when London was icy and snowed under. And guess what? Yet again, we've decided to sign up for the British 10K this year. Do you think we can make it? Yes? No? Yeah. We started doing 10K runs already, and we've got 2 more months to go, so I think we have a pretty good chance to do this. But how did we do it, you may ask? For me, it was very much to do with my lovely running partner. She has been the backbone of my running. She supported me all the way, every step of the way. Whenever I felt like I wanted to give up, she would actually pick me up. And I have to thank her for the health of my lungs, because my doctors actually say I don't need my asthma puffer anymore. On top of that, all this running has actually given us such a huge sense of achievement. You know that feeling when you've gotten over your own self-limiting thoughts? And that gives you so much confidence. And this confidence naturally allows you to do more and more, to achieve greater and grander things. and to challenge yourself even further. And like Mr. Eugene F. Ware once said, all glory comes from daring to begin. But you may ask yourself, where do I begin? To answer that question would require another speech. However, in this month's newsletter, there's an article written by our very own Vikash that talks about set your priorities right. It talks about the important things of life. The so-called golf balls of your life. That's what the article says. Now I won't spoil you the story, because it's actually quite a touching and inspiring one, so I'll let you have a read. But before you leave here tonight, I'd like you to remember Thomas Edison's words. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The only certain way to succeed is to always just try one more time. I did, and he's brought me wonders. But do remember, it is not what you achieve that matters the most. It is how you feel once you've achieved it, because that is what makes a difference in your life. And to quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, what lies behind you and before you are small matters in comparison to what lies within us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a little over a year ago, I set myself a huge and unachievable challenge, or so it seemed. I failed horribly. But this year, I will not let history repeat itself. I will, like Sir Richard, rise above my challenges. My challenge was Rome, and now I invite you to challenge yourself. What is your challenge going to be? Something to do with work, perhaps? Something to do with personal things? How are you going to face your challenges? Most importantly, how are you going to rise above them?